Okay, I'm here with Damon Edwards at National Instruments for DevOps Days. Damon, you're the founder of DTO Solutions, is that correct?
One of the founders, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
What is DTO Solutions? What do you guys do?
Well, a little known piece of trivia. The D, T, and the O stands for DevOpsDays, actually.
Ooh.
And we should probably do. People always ask us that, and we're like, God, we should probably. They try to figure out our names or something that doesn't really correspond, although my first initial does correspond. But yeah, so basically, we solve what we now call DevOps lifecycle problems, right? So we come to an organization and say, look, the most fundamental business process in any technology-based company is getting an idea from inception to where it is in a customer-facing environment, making them money, right? So that pipeline, that process, it's their fundamental. That's their factory floor. It's where they make their money, right? So people come to us because it's either taking too long, or it breaks too much. They're kind of stuck in the mud. They can't they can't be agile enough because they realize that how in this kind of new web and app enabled world, how fast they can iterate, how quickly and efficiently they can react to market forces, to their own ideas, to competitors, is going to mean the difference between success and failure. So they come to us to help them basically speed up and compress and make bulletproof that life cycle. And it's part. We kind of approach it from two directions. One of them is a lot of kind of organizational and process improvements, right? So it's a lot of bringing lean principles and lean ideas, lean classic lean from the manufacturing world, right? To how do you apply that to these kind of new, web-based or technology-based organizations. And the other side is just a lot of automated infrastructure, right? Once you've got the process in place and the people aligned doing the right thing, you got to put the right modern tooling in place and to make the whole thing rock solid and automated.
So how long have you guys been around, and how did you get the idea to start out?
Sure. So we've been, in one form or the other, the core team's been working together since 2004, 2005. DTO is a couple years old now, is kind of this incarnation, and it's really been what we've been focusing on. We really started interesting in the deployment automation space, right? Kind of, our expertise was all around how do you bridge that gap? What comes between the classic dev and the classic ops, right? So how we got in the DevOps world. How do you make that work better in between there? And there was a lot of throw it over the wall problems. And so we were really helping people originally very focused on that. We did open source tools in that space. We still do a lot of open source tools in that space. But we found that what we were really doing was helping organizations transform fundamentally. At the end of the day, the last step was, and let's formalize that as an automated deployment pipeline. But before you get to that, how do you actually fix these organizational issues that cause all these problems in the first place? How do you bridge that gap between dev and ops? How do you get developers to design for manufacturability? How do you get the operations folks to give a platform to the rest of the organization that actually facilitates this? How do you get the business folks the visibility they need into that so they can actually run it like a factory floor and actually understand what's going on in their business and make valuable decisions and react and changing. So it's like we were all around that pipeline doing our work. So we realized, well, wow, that's over the years, that's really what we kind of learned in a strong body of knowledge around. And our customer base is broad customer base across e-commerce, software as a service, financial services, online gaming, people who build and operate revenue-producing services as a business. That's who we work with. That's who we help.
And did you start with one particular customer type and then broadened out, or is it?
Back in the day, it was sort of e-commerce guys, right? But really, no. Yeah, it is people who build and operate revenue-producing services, right? People who this is their factory floor, and that really falls down to web-based shops and financial services. Right? Financial services is a bunch of smart people, a bunch of computers, right? So for them, it's the same problem. And one bank's the same as another bank. That's how fast they can move internally. Makes all the difference in the world. So that's what we do, and it's folks like like Zynga, JP Morgan Chase, Cisco WebEx, Williams-Sonoma Restoration Hardware. Names are pretty familiar out there, and a lot of them come to us because they have different problems. They're like, we wish we were 5 guys working on one cool problem, doing one app. That would be awesome, but we're not. We're this multinational company, or there's 500 people and 37 apps, and spread, and we've acquired things through acquisitions. There's kind of a lot of legacy issues around what they're doing, or there's special scale issues, and we help sort of translate a lot of those best practices, both from the lean world and also from kind of all the cool DevOps hipster stuff you're going to see. We help apply those things to the special case, larger or kind of more high end than you would get just from going and reading about one particular startup that did something cool with the customer.
Awesome. Damon Edwards, thank you so much.
Thanks.